who owned the club hated black people, and he was very cruel to employees. He was just a cruel guy. He was a cruel person. Didn't treat anybody right, you know. But anyway, we're going to get back to that story, but that later on. We're going to get back. Anyway, so that's what we did, and then from then on, once we started playing there, then came the smaller hotels in Las Vegas, and he'd already opened that door. So
how did he open that door?
I just told you.
So
I told you the story about letting them go into the hotel when they said, "Here, you can come in the hotel and stay and go to the coffee shop."
How did he get booked in those shows? Like, so he started getting booked at those shows.
Talk to my father. He was the one that did that. That's his job.
That's exactly what I'm trying to get at.
That was my father's. My father booked them because, first of all, you got to remember, as young as Sammy, he was one hell of a talented person. Now he not only danced like crazy, I mean, nobody dances like he does. And let me talk about it. People should go, if they have a chance, should go out and rent the movie Tap. Because Tap is Sammy's movie. He made it. And in the movie, they use these dancers that were still alive when he made the movie. This, in our language, would be, these are hoofers. There is no choreography involved. This guy danced the sand dances. This guy danced this way. This guy danced that way. And they show pieces of the way that when they were still alive, that the way they danced then. It's really a learning studio for people who really want to learn how to tap. What these people did is what people still do, I'm sure, or do on Broadway or on the sidewalks, playing the drums or playing the tin cans or whatever they do. So my father would get the bookings. Well, every place Sammy went, he was impersonating more people. A lot of singers now. He impersonated a lot of singers. From Billy Eckstein, I could just go Billy Eckstein and Nat King Cole and on and on and on. The one person that by the way, it's a very funny story. The one person he could never impersonate was Frank Sinatra, his idol. He could put a hat on, could throw the coat over his shoulder and walk off with a cigarette in his mouth and look just like Frank. He never could nail Frank's voice. Never. Couldn't nail Dean's voice. Could nail Peter Lawford's voice, but couldn't nail Sinatra. Just drove him crazy. So, he because of his performance, well, he does business. He brings in people. He's wanted more and more by people. Now, at that point in time, it wasn't, let's go to the movies. The people went to nightclubs to see the show. You watch any old movie, you see they all go, they're all dressed in their refinery. And that's where Sammy played in the nightclubs all across the country.
So tell me how, because today people get famous through the internet and media. Everybody talks about people. How does the word spread back then? How did the word spread about Sammy?
Because people told people.
What did people tell people?
You could not have done what you do today then. It just wouldn't be bought. People were real people. They couldn't live. That was another century, man.
So what did people tell people about Sammy? What were people saying?
Well, people that go out, go home and tell their friends. We saw the greatest show that was Sammy Davis Jr., the da-di-da-di-da. Word gets around. The newspapers pick it up. The few little interviews that he would do, it picks it up. It just builds. That's the building of a star. Any star, even today. It's just the breaks. That's the way it goes. And he kept getting more and more and more. And we used to play. Now, all the nightclubs were all owned by the mob. One is in Philadelphia, one's in Boston, one's in Chicago. Sammy happened to be out of the Chicago group.
What group is that?
Huh?
What group is that? So Sammy was involved.
Giancana.
And
if you don't know the name Giancana, then you don't know nothing about the mob.
No, I'm dumb.
Sam Giancana.
I'm young.
Sam Giancana was was one of the bosses. Let's go back to the movies, the part like Brando played. That's the way that moved. That's the way it was. Everybody had their own club, their own territories. But they all loved Sammy because Sammy brought in a lot.